Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Letuka Dlamini, and I am absolutely honored to bring you the very first official SA Charts podcast. And we have guests. You know what I mean when I say guests? I mean buying. Upper echelon, baby. We do not play. I am super excited, so I just want to get straight into it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing, gents? Are you well?
We're doing great. I'm here sounding like Future.
No, we well, my brother. And how are you?
Well, thank you so much for joining me. For those who do not know, and you really should, let me just tell you who sits next to me, the esteemed company that I shared today. On the far right, you see with the swag of life, with the half jersey swag of life, Baholo, Mr. Lesley Mofokeng. It's always tough, Lesley, to introduce you because you are a man who wears multiple hats. You're an author, you are an academic of note, you are a lecturer, you are a media specialist. What do we say?
Just say Risa communications manager.
Listen to that.
Oh, spokesperson for the SAMAs. That's sufficient.
That's more.
That's more, you know what I mean?
Keeps adding, eh?
Listen to that. I even left that spokesperson for the SAMAs. Guys, it's not a game over here. And right next to him, the ladies' man of life, the charmer on the decks, a musician of note, a multi-award winning personality. Chymamusique, sir, how are you doing?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Letuka. How are you? Thanks and for the invitation, man.
No, bless. Thanks for honoring it, man. There's so much to talk about. And what we hope to do with this podcast is not get into gossip, not get into, things that matter to other people. We want to educate. We want to talk and give proper feedback about the state of the music industry in this country, and I suppose music at large, for the benefit of helping people who would like to get in to be informed about certain things.
That's great.
And
because something new, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because we always see you guys da fair, you go to awards, you see very important people running to Lesley Neki. You're like, Hotmanle.
Come on.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And Gama, you see Chyma doing his thing, you go to gigs, you go wherever, you know what I mean? You listen to dope music. And you always see them and you wonder, how can I get there? How do I interact with these people? Who's who? How does the game even work? So I just want to start with Pralez because he's not well. I don't want to abuse Mr. Les. He's got very important things to do as well today, and he's going to need that voice because big things are happening. The summers are on this year as well. And so being a very engaged man, I just want to start with you, right? So what is your history with music, wearing the hats that you wear? How do we translate being a lecturer, being an author, being a journalist, you know what I mean, to the music industry? Do you feel your things are geared towards the game, or it's just by happenstance that you are where you are?
Well, I think, let me quote Thabo Mbeki when he says I'm an African, because I think it starts there. It's our soul, it's in our spirit, it's in who we are as Africans. We all grow up surrounded by music. Yeah. Whether at home or at church or whatever, but as an African child, I grew up surrounded by music and have vivid memories of either a lullaby or whatever, the first song that I heard on the radio or something. But I've always been surrounded by music. And when I started working as a journalist, I was blessed to work in the music industry, in the music space, and got to meet a lot of people, great names, interview Miriam Makeba, Hugh Masekela, Brenda Fassie, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, you name them, really all the legends of South Africa, Mahlatini and Mahotela Queens, I mean everyone, Ladysmith Black Mambazo, I had the honor of meeting them or interviewing them or interacting with them. And
Chymamusique also.
Chymamusique.
There we go.
No. I was saving him for last. I was saving him for last because Chyma was one of the last interviews that I did as a journalist. Yeah. So it's true that the multiple SAMA winning Chymamusique is also on my list of people that I've had the honor and privilege to meet and interview and interact and know them. as South African legends. So yeah, I've always loved music, and when my journey as a journalist ended, and I joined the South African Music Awards, or Recording Industry of South Africa, I worked on the SAMA project, this beautiful trophy, and I got to work on the other side of the ecosystem, if you like. So yeah, music is central to me. It's something that is ingrained in me, and I'm truly honored to still be doing it after all these years and sitting on this first podcast representing the recording industry of South Africa and the South African Music Awards, and obviously the official South African charts. Absolutely.
All right, so now you know who's behind me when I make noise every week over there. Now, Baba Patibetu, the recording industries of South Africa, represented today by Mr. Lesley Mofokeng. Big Dog Chyma.
My brother.
Are you well, King?
No, I'm well, man.
Tell me about your journey to music. You started as a classical pianist. You were playing jazz and gospel.
Yeah, man. Back in the villages, couple year 2000. You know, that's when most of our people are born. You know, you even gave them the title. So that was me. My music journey starting. Yeah, I was playing keyboard, kokereke, you know, that's where most of us start, and then it just grew from there. To what happened along the way, it was just God's wonders, really, because I happened to move from Limpopo, my village, Beggersford, and then I came to Joburg, and then that's when I met most people from there, Pretoria, and then next thing back to Joburg, and next thing I'm sitting next to legends like yourself and Lesley.
So moving from Beggersford to Josie to multiple SAMA, and not just SAMA, like we're talking many big awards have been won thus far.
Yeah.
What, if you had to describe the music industry as you've experienced it thus far, in a sentence?
In a sentence, I would say music industry, basically, yo man, it's a combination of many things. I won't lie. It's like, but I would say it's each person that's in the industry, they've got their own journey and their own purpose. So I don't see it as a competition even, you know? I feel like it's just, It's just a calling. I think it's a calling. It's a calling more than anything. I'll just say music is a calling. Yeah.
But Chyma, don't forget the most important part, which is business.
And obviously the business side of it. That's where most people get the stresses, and it's always trending that people own other masters and stuff like that. So I like the fact that lately I see much information going out. You know, with this podcast coming, people will learn about how the whole thing of masters works, the things that happen in the background. Because now music industry in a way it's opening up. I don't think there's a doorkeeper. So I normally see people saying there's a doorkeeper. I don't think there's that. People just need to learn and mind how they do things. Even like something simple like social media. I look at many artists using it differently. There's people who are clean and there's people who wanna use it for controversy. So you choose what kind of artist you wanna be. And there's people who wanna be trending all the time, and there's people who wanna just serve the purpose, you know? So it's just up to your personality. You must just find the space where you fit and fit there. Like myself, you won't see me really trending about what's what drama I'm fighting. I don't think so far there's any drama about myself. But somehow, even the SAMAs didn't go and look for, okay, this guy, he doesn't have drama. He can't win awards. Really, I just made music, and they were like, okay, it's about the music. So I would say for me it was like, okay, really it's about the music. It's South African Music Awards. You know, it's not about South African most controversial. There's no one like that. So people don't need to pull all these funny stunts for them to be heard in a way, to get somewhere.
So you touched on something that I actually want to concentrate on for quite a bit, and being a label owner yourself, as well as with the work you've done, the decades worth of experience and knowledge that you have in the game. There's this hot button issue that's come up over the years, and for me personally, I'm sad that it's only happening now, and that's the battle for masters. It's only recent, the past 5-6 years. Overseas, Ubonabo Sierra fighting for their masters. You see so and so. The conversation is around masters. What does that mean? What does that actually mean? If I'm a young musician starting out in the game, when I hear or see on Twitter or wherever, own your masters. Why is that important? And what does it mean at the most practical level? How does it change your life?
I think, according to myself, the reason why I started my own label is because I've always been doing the sound that doesn't trend. So big labels wouldn't see it as honey, you know, they wouldn't jump on it because I won't probably make them that R1,000,000 in that month, you know. But then in a long run, for me, it's sustainable. So owning masters goes to now, where it comes from is, remember there were times where there are labels would license your music, and there's times where you'll do music at the studio that belongs to the label, like they'll fund you. You've got nothing, all you have is talent. And they invest in you because you've got nothing, and also you don't even believe in yourself, they believe in you, so they'll own you in a way. So eventually they own everything that you do with the talent that they signed you for. Whereas now things are going different. Now in a way there's a lot of independent artists. So we work in our bedroom studios, everything is done by me. I find that most people don't even need labels. You just drop a song and it's on TikTok and it goes viral, and then you own your masters. It's all your work, you know. There's no one who came and funded your recording and stuff. So I'll say with currently, because this thing will also keep evolving. Sometimes you think you are right and the next thing it changes, like, wow, okay, the music industry just keeps evolving. But I would think it's always best for artists to own their masters if they can. Because you never know, after you made a song, 20 years from now, there might be the biggest movie looking for that song. And the next thing you realize that you settled for 10,000 rand, whereas now the song makes millions, and then you find that it's not really your song. Not your song anymore. It's owned by the label that invested in that project.
Yeah, I just want to jump on that also. Chama, when I spoke about business earlier on, the fact that yes, it might be a bedroom studio operator or creating music in your bedroom, it's important to take care of your business. Get registered. Get an ISRC code from Risa. Register with SAMRO. Register with all of those CMOs to make sure that you are protected. There are vultures in this industry that will take advantage of you if you only come with your talent and not aware and awoke to the dangers of your music being taken for granted and being exploited and being abused and losing out on what's rightfully yours, which is the money that you should be making. So it's important to also add that, make the music, but also make sure that the business side of it is taken care of.
Do research.
And our entities like Risa and SAMRO, Kapaso are there to help you make sure that you get what you deserve. There's a lot.
So you hear there's many different ways to take care of yourself in the game. You don't necessarily have to be signed to a major. You can do it yourself in the times that we live in.
Quite difficult though to do it yourself. Quite difficult.
I'm gonna circle back to that because I think you're a very prime example of that working out the right way. Right? But I just want to go back to something that Lesley just said right now. And that is that there are bodies that are there to help protect, guide, and help artists to benefit from their craft, right? What do you wish artists knew about Risa that they don't? And also, what are some misconceptions that artists might have about what Risa actually does?
Risa does a lot of things. A colleague of mine calls Risa the home affairs of the music industry.
Oh, there we go.
And it really is that. You get this ISRC code, which is almost like your ID number. And it travels all over the world with you. And we can track your music because it has this ID number or passport number that identifies your work. That's one of the biggest things that we do as Risa. But we also are a campaigner for the industry. We lobby government, we lobby all the way up to parliament on many issues that affect the industry that we're in, which is music making. And then on top of that, we also are the official certifier. When you need certification to say Chyma sold platinum or gold or whatever, it has to come from Risa. If it does not come from Risa, then you must question it. We are the ones that issue that certificate. We organized the SAMA, one of our most popular projects. It is a project within Risa. It's, well, I don't have to speak too much about the SAMA. We're in the 30th year, been running since 1994. and have honored the greatest in South African music who have gone on to win bigger awards all over the world, overseas, America, and whatever. But this is what we do. We honor South African talent, South African music. And we also, by the way, there's another part of Risa, which is called RAV, R-A-V, which also helps musicians receive what's due to them in terms of music playing in venues. So when you go to a club, maybe not a good example, let's say a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant or any kind of venue and there's music playing on the speakers, it has to be licensed. That music playing has to be paid for. That musician has to get money for it. And sometimes musicians don't know this, that when your music gets played in the mall, you're walking through the mall. I'm not talking about the radio station of the mall. That's a different kind of arrangement there. But just your music blazing through the speakers as you walk through the mall or as you enter a shop or a restaurant, there is money to be made there for you as a musician.
Really?
Yeah. So these are some of the things that we do. Yeah. It's a whole lot of stuff and services that we offer to our members. The summers are open to even non-Risa members because they are the South African Music Awards, so we're not restrictive there. We do allow everyone to enter, and we've just closed the submissions. We're thankful to the industry for responding. The numbers that we received are encouraging. We're proud and looking forward to organizing the milestone Summer 30 later in the year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, that's for sure. Limpite.
I know you're always available.
Yeah, no, 100%. Chyma, what Lesley here said, I think is very important. And you're an example of someone who's started by themselves, Ska Ocho, at the crib side, home studio, all the way through to winning us multiple times.
Yeah.
How? It is a very difficult thing. And from the outside looking in, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong. It seems you can never really say an oversaturation but you can get music and artists anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
You have multiple streaming platforms, some tailored to finding independent artists. You have TikTok, where I can go to bed having dropped a silly video with one of my songs on and wake up to 1 million followers. How on earth did you do it?
Yeah, I think I must actually take it back to how it started. Remember, there were compilations back then, and there were labels which used to release all the music used to come through major labels. And
Also
fortunately, I started that during those times.
Okay.
So from there, people started paying a little bit of attention to this Chymamusique, like, is he from South Africa? Even the name you can tell, it's not, is he South African? What's happening? And that time it was just a little boy who happens to be studying somewhere in Pretoria. And then when I saw the music picking up, went to study now media. Media now I studied what? PR, advertising, marketing, you know.
If I recall, you were initially there to study chemical analysis or something.
I did analytical chemistry.
That's hectic.
And then from there I was like, damn man, now all the time, you know, the music thing just keeps fetching me, you know? And I was like, okay, let me answer the call. And went and studied a little bit about how to do interviews, you know, how to talk to people. And I think that's why when I get an interview, I know it's an opportunity. I won't be like, guys, that's too early. You know, I always tell this, you know, I'm not a rock star, I'm not a celebrity. I'm a musician. I'm a musician, I'm in business, you know. I know that any chance on the screen or on radio or where people are going to work, it's a big opportunity, it's priceless. But then people who didn't study, they think when you call them and say, bro, can we have an interview? It's like you want to suck something from them. They're not aware that actually this might be an opportunity for one person to just watch and be like, that's my guy, and say, okay, I want to invest 1 billion rand in your brand. Yeah. So I think that mindset, I just grow with it, and I'm like, okay, cool. And things are just somehow working slowly. Obviously, there's challenges that I face online, but I find it to be manageable because in a way I know why I started, and I've got a foundation, that old school foundation. Yeah, okay, this thing, actually the music industry is not all about being a celebrity. It's all about the music. Yeah.
You make a very, some would say, niche type of music. Some would classify it as alternative. How do you classify your music?
My music, I would say under Chymamusique, because what I do also, I do many things, but not just under Chymamusique. That's why I normally, when I met you, I said, I'm Colin Motla.
Yeah.
Because you can go onto a jazz record, I'm a piano record, and actually look for my name, you'll find it like, oh, this guy, you know? Because I'm in the background of many things, sound engineering, mixing, mastering, all those things, events, I'm there. Not as Chymamusique, obviously. I work with artists, a lot of artists. I think I can say with confidence that now more than 50% of music I mix, I master, South African music. Even international, I mix and master them at my studio. But I'm in the background. Wow. I think that's the reason why I'm not able to drop music like regularly, because there's always a bunch of projects that I need to do for other people before I can jump onto my project.
Okay.
So I would say the music I make really under Chymamusique is, I call it soulful house. Even though there's a little bit of Afro to it, because there's songs that are got Afro to them. But now when I'm going to shock people. There's going to be a kind of gospelish album coming before I stop, you know? Yeah, but even my house music, if you check, there's lots of gospel lyrics. Yeah, so that's just me introducing other things. Small.
Would you say your faith plays a big part in your music?
Definitely. Yeah, because whatever music I put out, I watch the message, what I'm putting out there. Is it where it's leading to? Like, I really do a lot of self-assessment before I drop a song. So, which makes it easier, because the less the music I drop, the more I have time to also speak with my people and do the admin correctly. So every song that I give birth to, before it gets the ID number, because it must get the ID number before I give birth. But other people, they'll just be in the studio, the song gives birth without ID number, and the next thing they're shocked they don't get their money. Yeah. Because they gave birth to something without a name, without a surname. It's just out there. It's like a prodigal. No, prodigal is better because he went back to the father. It's just making money for nothing. And then part of, they call it undocumented. Now your money is just going to disappear while your song is trending. Whereas you must follow all the steps. Do research about Risa. Do research about Sampra. All this, get someone to administrate your publishing. Most people trust me if you go now and be like, who's your publisher? Most musicians don't know, because they take all the time and put it in the studio instead of doing the research and finding other people to help them. Yeah.
So, like you said, it's not a one-man game.
No, definitely not.
In rap, we would call you a conscious rapper, given what you just said, where you make your music to be infused with a message that I suppose has a big part of your faith. That's very fascinating. And then how do you feel? Let me ask this to both. How do you feel about the state of the industry right now as somebody who makes the music that you do? As multifaceted as it is, there are certain genres that are above others right now. If we're talking streaming numbers, if we're talking maybe percentage of gigs or whatever. Is that something that in your time in the industry you've seen, Ralezo, is it something relatively new where you have one genre sort of superseding the rest? And what are the consequences of that for artists like you, Chyma? Like how do you guys navigate the space?
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I'm going to refer to my kind of what I remember of music history. And think back to the times of Sophia Town, maybe even before that. There was a sound called Kwela music, which was huge at the time. And then came, I don't know, the 50s, whatever that was, a big thing there, the 60s, with their own influences, the 70s. I mean, every era has its own flavor. Every era shows itself off. And it's usually the young people. It's obviously the young people. They're the ones that innovate, and they want to have an identity of themselves, sort of a soundtrack of their youth. I come from the soundtrack of Kwaito. The 90s, obviously I grew up in the 90s. I loved R&B, but as a South African, I would say TKZ, Palafala, was it 97, 98, somewhere there, 96 even. Those are the points, sort of the markers in the history of South African music that I would say that I identify with as a youth of the 90s. And so Kwaito music really put a stamp on South African music and identified itself as proudly South African, uniquely South African, from the townships, from the streets, and was exported. There are some award ceremonies where you find a Kwaito winner comes from Namibia. And the music is played all over the continent and the world, I'd like to think. And here we find ourselves in 2022, wherever we are, 2024. Let me say the 2020s. In the 2020s, and young people are making their presence felt with Mapiano. And there's no denying, you work for the official South African charts. You know what's always charting.
Yeah.
You can tell us better about the streams and the millions of streams that not only come from South Africa. The official South African charts are about South Africa. But you know that the music is played all over the world, and it shows in the awards and the accolades that we keep winning from all over the world. But having said that, there's still classic South African sounds that will not go away. Music that is timeless, music that carries the DNA of being South African. Whether it's Afro pop, whether it's Afro house, I don't know if there's Afro rap, but there's always that unique flavor that says this comes from Africa and this comes from South Africa specifically. You find that in jazz. You find that sometimes even in our R&B. I'm so glad that we over the years have outgrown this obsession with sounding American.
Yeah.
I come from the 90s, so I know this. You had to twang. You had to sound like you lived in the States to be considered cool.
Yeah.
Thank goodness those days are over, and we are proudly South African. In fact, when you twang, we look at you funny. Yeah. Like, you actually lived in the States. It turns out you haven't been, and it's kind of embarrassing. So I'm glad that we are authentically South African. Yeah. And the music is still rooted in South Africa. Yeah. And regardless of the trends that come and go, there's still a South African identity that you can pick. You listen to this music and you know that it's a South African artist without even knowing who they are. And Chama is one of those people. He talks about gospel. I wish you'll ask him about church, because he's also big on church. Yeah. And how that his DNA, what makes him Chymamusique. Sometimes I even struggle to call you Chama. Is it French? Is it musique or music? Music, okay.
But then actually now I'm easy, man. Anything. Some say music. I'm like,
oh my goodness, no, not music. Because of the Q. Yeah. But it's the identity that you carry that says this is an African artist, regardless of the trends of the time, regardless of what's happening. That is why in 2022, when you won all of those music awards, you actually beat Amapiano, which is still
wild,
in fashion. Yeah. And it just shows that authenticity always wins the day.
Would you agree with that authenticity?
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I said in the beginning that I feel like it's a calling, man. You do what's you give out what's inside of you, be it trending or not. It will do what it's meant to do, you know. So
it's all good. No. And so, but Lesley touched on something key.
Okay.
That happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you won 3 summers.
Yeah.
At a time when people were looking at the piano boys and the whatevers. And for me, in that moment, it sort of re-emphasized to me that trends are good.
Yeah.
I think it shocked a lot of people, and it really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You won multiple summers on a night where, like Lesley said, Mapiano was making the pots. And for me, that moment re-emphasized that Risa and the summer board and the voters are not necessarily looking at what's trending, but the quality of the product sort of speaks for itself. Can you remember that night and how it must have felt? And what were some of the things that were said, both good and bad, that sort of stuck out for you, and what that moment meant?
That night, man, I think I went there, I didn't expect to win.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't even ready. Even, you know me, I'm not an outfit guy. I didn't even have like
Is it?
the outfits and stuff. I was just like, no, I'll just be easy.
Yeah.
But one thing I do, I respect invitations.
Yeah.
So that's why I was present. 'Cause they said, no, you're nominated. Come. I was like, okay. I stopped everything. I went and attended because this is a big thing. It's all about South Africa. It's going to live forever. If it's filmed, it's on TV, it's going to be on YouTube forever. So I can't afford to say I'm nominated, I win an award, and I'm not there. You know, that's one thing that I look at artists like, oh, damn, you missed the SAMAs, man. Are you South African?
Yeah.
It's your award, you know? You're supposed to make them bigger. You can never be bigger than the SAMAs, come on, unless you've got your own award. So thinking of that night, actually it was 2 nights because it was Friday and Saturday.
And Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember I was gigging in Botswana, and I had to let the guys like, okay, I went and played, and then I had to come back just to go and attend the SAMAs. I was tired, but I did. It was unbelievable when I won, my man. I mean, I was all the important people that the ones that probably thought they were going to win. They were sitting in front. I was there, the corner alone, and I was even alone, sitting at the corner there, just watching everything. Like, wow, I wonder who's going to win. Big ups to them, you know. But at least I've got the experience of being at the SAMAs. I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
Risa has organized the room for me. Wow, beautiful. You know, because I think one thing that I'm also doing with my music, it's really personal. I make the music that I love, and then I appreciate every single person who's gonna join me. Like, okay, I feel this song. I'm like, wow. So there's people like me who feel like this chord is the right chord to be used there. And with me, fortunately, because I'm a sound engineer, I make sure that when I drop something, it must really sound good, man.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I realized that now with the new rock stars, the very talented people that we have, some of them don't even care about mixing and mastering, you know? Your song, and tomorrow you release it. And some don't even enter their music to the Modi Samin, but they'll come and complain. You know, it just goes to paying attention to everything. You don't enter. Maybe some people also, many albums were not done properly. Also, there's something called sequencing. Because I'm from those times when we used to do compilations. When you do an album, there's an intro, there's climax, there's ending. Yeah. You can't have the hottest song as number 1, and then the most chilled song at the end. It's like, bruh, can't, you know, it's even someone who's gonna listen, they're gonna skip. But if someone can listen to the album, it's like, oh wow, feels like, oh, that was a journey. Then that can win album of the year. You must know how to organize your things. It must be a journey, you know? Yeah. So I made my album to be a journey. I was like, when I got the best dance album, I went back and listened to the album. Like, okay, the beginning, climax, oh, the end, wow, I could listen to this album, you know, while I'm driving and easy, I can't skip. So I understood when it went to best male also, it made sense. I was like, only later though, it made sense. I was like, okay, so best male wins best dance. Like everything was just like, I was like, man, I was shocked though. I won't lie. Yeah. I remember when the other award when it was given, I was even in the room, like that's how chilled I was.
You were backstage with me, in fact, then at that time, I think. And then you had to run back.
Before I came to you, I was actually in the room just going to fetch.
Okay,
I felt like my shoes were what. And then I just went to wear easier shoes because I knew I'm not going to be on the stage. Yeah. They said the winner is, now I get calls, bro. I'm in the room. So people my friends had to go on the stage and collect the award for me. And then when I was when I was now rushing to that side, begging to come and enter, you know, there's protocol. Yeah. Begging to enter, when I got there, there's Alf, you still talking like before. Yeah. Now they're like, another one. I'm like, hey, boo.
Yeah, and then you had to rush back.
You can tell that I was not prepared. I didn't know that. I didn't know anything. I had no clue. I didn't expect anything, you know? Yeah. I didn't think I deserved anything, but now I look at it like, oh, damn, man. You've been getting nominations, Saming, remixing other people's songs, and not getting anything, and you're okay with that, and now it's your time, you know, take it. It had to take many people who care about me, like, bro, I feel like I don't deserve them. They were like, bro, you deserve them. Look at your journey. You've been doing this, you've been doing that. And it's only now that I'm like, oh, damn, man.
I just wanted to add something quickly on the masterclass. I think it's a masterclass in how to carry yourself as a musician and being a proudly South African musician. So, Chyma, thank you for that. But I wanted to add that in terms of SAMA rules, that's actually it. We don't look for popularity. Yeah. We don't even look for trends. It really is the body of work that's presented before the judges. It's not the SAMA office, by the way, that decides who wins. It's a panel of experts taken from the industry people who know music, people who teach music, people who create music, people who are involved in the ecosystem. And it's almost like a peer review. It's really your colleagues listening to your music and saying, you did good. You're the one that deserves a SAMA award. So I always talk to young artists to say, enter the SAMAs. You just never know. It might be your first album. It might be an album that you release the week before the SAMAs close. You'll be surprised that you actually win because of just how good your work is. It really boils down to that. There are categories for popularity contest, record of the year and music video of the year. That's different. You have to have the numbers and the hype and the noise and actual votes. People have to vote. Otherwise, really, the SAMAs are about the body of work that you present.
For me, it speaks to the integrity of the SAMAs, and I think that's what will always make it stand out. I know there have been artists who've complained before, and I wanted to ask, but I'll ask this one offline. I want to know whether people who came to you and were like, hey, when you don't deserve it, who are in the game and whatever, but no, that's not a chat for you. It's not a chat. We'll talk about that outside.
Why do you want to chat about
would you answer?
Yeah, I would answer.
Were there people who pulled up to you and said, no, but you don't deserve this, or people who treated you differently?
Only online.
Okay, there we go.
Actually, only on Twitter. You know, Twitter is known for that.
Yeah.
I think, but it was not many people, man.
Yeah.
It was probably maybe 5 people.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I was defended by most people who were part of the categories. They're like, hey, bruh, leave that guy. He's actually the one who mixed my album after all.
Yeah.
Like, oh, flame.
Yeah.
So.
But I also want to say that it's people who actually they've not listened to the entire album.
Yeah.
They might know Chyma's one song because they had it on the radio or something.
Yeah.
And then there's this other guy who's got 5 songs played on the radio or wherever they go at parties, and they think that is the universe, that's the winner. But some judges listen to the entire album, all the tracks, and they score that. There's a formula that they use to score. And that is why you find that the SAMAs are really fair and balanced in that way. It doesn't follow the hype. It really it boils down to what did you put on the album.
Yeah, and it's Mzansi and hype. It's a wild game, but the SAMAs, like the charts, like Tosak. Here now when I host, I don't get any beef with anybody. There's nobody coming because I always emphasize, Chief, these are numbers as is. This is maths. You are fighting numbers. You are not fighting me. You are not fighting. If you see the dude at number 1, you must know that this is the most streamed track in that week, undisputed.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that adds a certain integrity to the game as well. And so what I want to find out is, I know I look young, but I grew up Kadina Gotsabo studio mix, like, and the charts were a big thing. In the States, artists sort of gauge their success and their journeys by what spot they land on the Billboard charts and whatever. And to a degree, I think that is very, very important, if not for anything, to sort of show you your market, to show you, where your corners are, where your fans are, who's doing what in the game, and that sort of thing there. What were some of your favorite chart shows, or do you see value in having charts valley that sort of track these things and let us know what is happening as the consumers?
Yeah, there's too much value in chats online. Because when I grew up, we used to have like your channel or Top What, and actually there was Bob TV also used to
Top of the Pops.
Top of the Pops.
Yeah. Top of the Pops.
Yeah. So chats are very important, and big ups for this initiative, man. Because now it's all about South African music also, which is very beautiful. So I think chats are very important because even now, I always say big ups to guys who put their songs on the charts. Even now if you check both Spotify, there are charts. There's playlists, even iTunes, everywhere. You can't get rid of charts. Just that obviously they were corruptible. They are corruptible at some places where people have to pay money and stuff, and that's where maybe it lost a little bit of value. But still, big ups to some of those who still remain original. Really check the quality of the song or the numbers that the song is doing organically. So they're very important.
Can I also add on the official South African charts to say that it's another project that comes from Risa. I spoke about the SAMA and all the other work that we do now for at least, is it 2 years? 3 years?
2 years running, almost.
We've had the official South African charts
Really?
As a compilation or an aggregation. You mentioned Spotify.
Okay.
So the official South African charts It's an aggregation of Spotify, of Deezer, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. So when you chart on the official South African charts, it is a total number of your streams across these digital streaming platforms. And by the way, when you look at them, it's about 90% of the streamed music in South Africa. So it's a fair reflection. These charts are compiled by a company called BMAT, which is based in Spain.
Okay.
They are the ones that will give us the numbers and tell us that in your territory, in South Africa for this week, this artist got so many streams for this song. And that is how we put the charts together. We issue them every Thursday at noon, Thursday 12 o'clock, make an appointment, check our website, the official SA charts, and see how your music is doing or your musician is doing. Letuka mentioned the use of this chart. For me, I think it gives you intelligence as an artist to know what people are vibing to or listening to. Because unlike other charts that are decided by music compilers, for example, this is raw data from people on their phones choosing what they want to play. That they might have seen or influenced by the music they heard in the taxi or on TV or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's the decision that I make as a consumer that I'm going to play this music. So it tells you the trends. It gives you an idea of where South Africans are going and how you can infuse this to make sure that your music travels and your music wins you more fans. And also, as Letuka also mentioned, the fact that when you chart number one, it actually is a big deal. It says the entire country is listening to you. So when people book you for a gig, you can shoot up that price. People want to listen to me. I'm number one on the charts. I released music and I've been on the charts for 13 weeks, 14 weeks. This song is huge. This is raw data that you can use to your advantage. So we've been on this journey, on this campaign with Letuka, on this show. He has this show on YouTube that I hope people will follow and watch and learn more about the official South African charts. It's so important for us to know our music and what we consume. And as I say, it really is about our choice as consumers. It's not dictated by anyone else.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks. It's been a very insightful chat for me as well, you know what I mean? And I sit with the charts and try and study the game and have access, you know what I mean? But what I want to round things off with, this is for Chyma and also for Pralez, knowing Chyma as well as you do and having seen the game for as long as you have. Chyma, who are some names that you would like to collaborate with that people wouldn't ordinarily expect? Because what we do is we put people in a box.
Yeah, exactly. A lot.
Very, very easily.
Especially
we shove people in.
Why we studied head.
Yeah. You know? But I got humbled recently because there's an artist I was working with.
Yeah.
And about video vixen, you can now.
Twerking.
Twerk.
And yeah, you know. and it's an artist who, to my utter surprise that day, is so multifaceted in what he can do. He was playing some of the other tracks that he's on the way. And I was like, hey, do you know what I mean? But then I was shocked. I was like, oh, this guy can do hip hop, he can do. And so it started playing a lot of different scenarios in my head. And so I wanted to know, artists, I'm sure, Luena, you don't like to be put in a box.
No, not at all.
So what are some people, international or local, that you look at and you're like, me and this person, we do something really, really dope that would shock Earth?
Sure. Recently, I got approached by a professor.
Oh, wow.
So which is something that I just never
wow.
I would do.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's a project that, can you imagine, Chymamusique professor? It doesn't make sense, eh?
That's going to be something dope. I know that for sure.
Yeah, and I've done something Litebe. Like you don't see the so I'm thinking actually I must just work on an album called Chymamusique Unboxed.
Okay.
Have probably 8 genres in it, just like 8 songs, different style.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Why
but
not?
the thing with it won't win best dance of the
It'll win something
Best
else.
album.
It'll win something else.
You know? But then I feel like I want to put out that project. I can say it's complete that because I've got lots of songs that are different. I've made something that's got a bit of hip hop. But they're just packed there. I'm like, listen to them when I'm alone. Like, damn, man, there's something here. Yeah. So internationally, I would like to work with who? No, man, I think Alicia Keys, she's brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The fact that, because I love Keys anyway. I'm a person of Keys and just all those. And also Gregory Porter.
I feel like that would be too easy for you.
Yeah, that
It would be nice, but I feel like that one would be too easy.
To work with him, making a song with him, I'm sure we just need 1 hour, man. The song
something fire would come out there. But
but I always realize that everything that I feel like I need to do is already done. Because when I think of something, it's going to happen, just not now. So probably so people must just expect that it's coming. Yeah, something is coming.
It's fantastic. And by Lesley, who do you think he should work with?
I think a brilliant vocalist. I like the Gregory Porter suggestion. And the Alicia Keys makes sense. I hope both of you will be on keys. And I don't know, in South Africa, I would like to see Chyma teaming up with, there's an Amapiano act. I don't know if you've worked with him.
Okay.
His name is Amos.
Oh, wow.
I'm his mixing and mastering engineer.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. He's with this album even now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the name that came to my head.
Yeah.
But there's also Daliwonga.
No, I've never worked with Daliwonga.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's another idea. And there's a surprise, maybe I'd like to say.
I want to work with Spogazi, man.
Spogazi?
Jazz lady.
Yeah, Spogazi, the one the summer winner.
She won.
Yes, like many years ago, 2012 or something.
Yeah, so I still listen to the old albums.
And then, brilliant musician.
And I see on TikTok she's following me. She keeps liking me. I'm like, I must just get time and say, hi, lady, it's time. And I think she'll know it's time for us.
No. I agree with you, Spogazi. Her voice, timeless, and her grace and poise. She's just a lady. She's so poised and I think that'll be a great one. But I wanted to surprise you with I think it's a Begersford together.
Who's that?
The gospel singer. She's based in Polokwane. Winnie Mashaba.
Really?
If not Winnie Mashaba, Lebo Sekgobela.
Really? That would be
it's just
I'd want to see that.
Something
gospel.
You said out of the box.
Yeah.
So something left field completely. Whether it works out in the end or not, we'll see.
I'll start seeing. Maybe I can work on a remix first.
Yes.
With what they've done already and then send to them.
Or also revisit classic South African music. The works of Mama Yvonne Chaka Chaka or Promises here, Brenda Fassie, which is by the way one of my favorite songs, Under the Sun.
Now you're exposing your age.
I am. But no. But another thing, Chyma, with music does not have age. Music, I mean, you can sit here. You can sit here where
that's why I make the music that I make, because I just want to make songs that will live for a long lifespan.
Because you can sit here and talk about music from the 60s when they take Haifa Siminya. Does it mean that you're old? Not really. You appreciate that the musicality and how it speaks to your soul. But those are kind of my suggestion. And when you record them, I want my royalties.
Sure.
You heard it here first. Final question, Chyma. When is the album dropping? You recently dropped the EP. When should we expect an album this year?
Yeah, my plan with my God, we plan that every 3 years we drop an album.
3 years.
So this is the 3rd year. Can you imagine now the pressure, man?
But
I've dropped a single with Wanda Baloyi a month ago.
Yeah.
And I see people are loving it. I know my music grows like...
Le Floyd Dean.
Yeah. So I think August, I can put out...
August.
When I release, I must check when the summer deadlines are.
I missed this year.
Strategical. It must be strategical. You don't just wake up and say, I'm releasing this song, is beautiful. So I must fall in the timeline. Next year, it can qualify, yeah.
Well, there you have it, August.
But also, he hasn't mentioned what he's doing for men in a couple of weeks, which I think is very important.
Very important. Chyma is not just over here playing keys, mixing, mastering, making you dance.
Yeah.
He's also here to minister, in a sense. And you've got something coming up that's going to help a lot of men. Tell us about this.
There's men's conference, men only.
Yeah.
I call it EQ men's camp, where it's men only. It's all gonna be about, men go through the most and they never talk. So fortunately, because of my personality, I've got friends almost in all industries, be it in business, psychologists, doctors, the finance, SARS. I always see the guys on the papers that they owe SARS what, because they've got no information. And also just managing finances, also family, like anything that has to do with men's health, and also sports, almost everything. So I'm just going to bring everyone to come and camp, and we talk, and we build something as men. The network, they start businesses. This whole thing of unemployment, it must be, for some people must take an initiative, and I took that. Yeah. So a camp on the 17th until the 19th of May, somewhere in Joburg South. And every second month, I'm going to let it to until it gets to international. Every month, it's going to go to a different province, different town. 200 people already now, they've bought in. And the group, we've got a group, it's now on 1,000 people. I'm sure WhatsApp is going to crash on that because it's within 2 days it was sold out. But we're working on trying to just make it work for everyone. They come with something. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to slaughter a whole cowbra for those guys to come and chow. Speed Bry. Let's chow, guys, and talk.
Well, there you have it. Please, 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 Majita. It's critical. It's critical. Like Chyma said, we're going through a lot as men. And if there's any platform that's going to help us, and I'm glad that, in your prominent position, you've recognized that gap and are trying to actively do something about it. So for more info on the following ones, and maybe if you can get space to this one, please follow Chymamusique on Instagram. Are you still on X?
Yeah, I'm on X.
There he is.
That's why I talk too much.
He's a troll.
And so pull up, get more information, and let's show love. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a good time today. I hope you did too. I've learned a lot. And this will definitely not be the last of the official SA Charts podcasts. More to come. And we started it off with a banger, bringing you some vital information from distinguished guests. Gents, bless up. Thank you very much for pulling up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Letuka. Great.
Thank you.
Get well soon, Lesley.
I will get back. Well, I like something like Future, so I don't know if I want to get better. So,
No worries.
Yeah.